What kind of dream is this? Sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare. Either way, I don't wanna wake up like no. Sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare. Somebody pinch me. Your love's too good to let go. My guilty pleasure, I ain't going nowhere. Baby, long as you're here, I'll be floating on air. 'Cause you're my sweet dream.
This is my water, Crystal Geyser.
Water-related diseases kill more people than all forms of violence combined, including war. By 2025, an estimated 1.8 billion people will live in areas plagued by water scarcity. This water crisis is occurring in places all over the world, especially in the global south, like sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America.
So how do people live during this water crisis?
Water affects everything: education, health, poverty, and most notably, women and children. A family caught in the water crisis most likely lives on less than $1 a day. They can't turn on the faucet for a glass of water because they don't even have a faucet at all.
A recent global water supply and sanitation assessment estimated that 1.1 billion poor people still lack reasonable access to improved drinking water. That is nearly 3.5 times the United States population.
Women and children walk hours a day to collect water from the nearest source. Not only has this body of water been sitting out in the open, it's likely been exposed to all kinds of germs and animal excrement. The time they spend getting water is the time they could be spending learning to read, write, earn income, or take care of their family.
Some countries have tried privatizing their water sectors to increase access and make water and sanitation more affordable. However, water privatization has increased the cost of water, given tremendous power to foreign companies, and failed to equally distribute such services.
In September of 1999, a sector of the US-based Bechtel company, Aguas de Tunari, signed a contract to control the private water sector in Cochabamba, Bolivia. But just 5 months later, in April of 2000, the concession contract was canceled. Riots had broken out as early as November when small farmers thought that the contract would charge them for their irrigation, as previous programs had done. Public uproar continued as the block tariff was increased to 35%. Bolivians also disliked the fact that Aguas de Tunari had exclusive rights over water management. Though continuation of this plan would have benefited the lower class the most, with decreased leakage rates and more accessible water, Aguas de Tunari was unable to provide safe water in terms of increased access to the poor. An additional water-related uprising occurred in Bolivia in 2005. The town of El Alto had privatized its water and sewage systems in 1997, handing over the control to Aguas del Limani, which is partially owned by the French water giant Suez. On January 10, 2005, after months of protests and failed negotiations, the Federation of Neighborhood Associations called for a strike. 2 days later, on January 12th, Bolivia's government annulled the contract with Aguas del Limani. For the second time in the past decade, water privatization had failed Bolivia. Again, basic water prices had risen by 35%. The population census of El Alto in 2001 showed that 52% of residents still lacked access to water and sewage services.
The water crisis is not limited to one country. Various other countries in Latin America, including Argentina, Trinidad and Tobago, Peru, and Brazil, have either terminated or chosen not to renew contracts with private water organizations after public backlash. Additional protests have occurred in Southeast Asia and Eastern Europe. So, what can we do?
Now, the UN has said that safe water is a basic human right. And the World Health Organization has defined what safe water is with these three things. First of all, you have to have access to an improved water source of sufficient volume. If you don't have enough water, nothing else matters. But secondly, you have to remove or kill the germs in the water and reduce the toxins in the water to safe levels. And only at the intersection of those is water truly safe.
Water filtration systems and classic wells, either drilled or handmade, can bring water closer to those who need it. Projects near villages can save time now that residents don't need to go out to collect water. With this time, they can better their education, earn money, and take care of their families. Projects near schools can also increase school attendance. Increasing citizen engagement in providing water is also crucial. Community-based innovation in Sebastian Pagador, Bolivia, combines the work of 390 families in the area to find supplies and make distribution possible. Government-run committees allow for productions to be introduced and funded by the government. Community councils create dialogue and are a space for citizens to discuss problems and ideas. Public-to-public relationships between two water organizations result in the pooling of resources, economic power, and an experience. Public-to-public partnerships are specifically useful in addressing the water needs of local populations. Access to water that is free of germs and toxins has a ripple effect on communities. With safe water and sewage systems, less money is spent on medication for water-related diseases. The excess money can be used for educational resources, the creation of business in the area, and more. Providing everything with clean water for an affordable price is just a small way in which we can ensure healthy, happy living.